guys, welcome back to a new video. Today I'm here in LA and I'm in my friend's kitchen. Absolutely gorgeous here, and today I want to share a new recipe with you guys because you know, sometimes when you're on a healthy lifestyle track, it is hard to actually really enjoy desserts. So for today I want to share 3 super easy sugar-free dessert recipes. With no sugar recipes, I mean no refined sugars, and we will use a little bit of sweetener, but most of it will come out of the fruit, so it's all natural. And I feel if you want to have something sweet but still healthy, then this is like the perfect opportunity. And the first one is a fresh fig pudding inspired on a Turkish recipe. The second one will be a chocolate avocado coconut mousse. And the third one will be a banana strawberry sorbet. So we're gonna start off with the first one with fig pudding. So basically the things you need is 1 big cup of dried figs. So obviously dried fruits contain a lot of sugar, but it's all natural, so it's really good to use this into like a recipe. I will use some fresh figs as well. They're in season at the moment. For a topping, obviously this is optional. Then we have almond milk. You can use also whole milk or any other plant-based milk. And I use a tiny bit of salt. I know these look like 4 ingredients, but you can also make it just with figs and almond milk. So I'm going to show you guys how, because this is the easiest thing to do. So the first thing you do, going to grab some almond milk and you pour this into the bowl with the figs, and make sure all the figs are underneath. They need to put this in the fridge and soak them overnight, and this way the figs will be very soft and kind of like ferment in the milk. If you don't have time to put it in the fridge overnight, you can also put it on a low heat fire and cook them for a couple minutes, but then you have to cool it down in the fridge again. Okay guys, the mixture of the figs and the milk looks something like this. I'm going to use a little food processor. So, okay, what I'm going to do, I feel I've made this a couple times, and every time I use like a little bit of different amount of milk, also when you cook it or when you have it overnight. So what I want to do, you kind of want to have like, you want to make a pudding, or like a mousse. So you don't want to have too much liquid, otherwise it's going to become a smoothie. So what I'm doing, the soft figs, I'm adding this to the food processor. And then I'm going to add just a tiny bit of the same liquid. And then just process it and see if it gets like this kind of like jelly pudding texture. If it doesn't mix, you should add a little more. If it makes too much, you know that you added a little bit too liquid. So I think it's always better to not put enough in there. So I'm going to add a little bit of this left over. There we go. So, and then we're going to blend this up. If it works. Okay. And then add this into little cups. So here they are, the little puddings, mousse, however you want to call it. For the toppings, I have some like fresh figs and some walnuts. And then the dessert is ready. Look how absolutely cute this looks like. So you can only make this with 2 ingredients. Get whole milk or plant-based milk and some dried figs overnight, or just cook them up a little bit, and then you have this really yummy Turkish delight. Okay, for our second recipe, we are going to make a chocolate coconut avocado mousse, and honestly this has been one of my favorite desserts. It's absolutely amazing, and avocado in a dessert kind of sounds a little bit weird, but trust me, you won't taste anything, and it's a really nice way to give a dessert like a nice texture, because avocado is so neutral, you can make anything out of it. So what I'm going to use raw cacao powder. Obviously I have some shredded coconut, I have some plant-based milk, I use almond milk, you can use anything you want. And then I have some raw cacao chips. These are 100% chocolate and actually have many health benefits. I feel chocolate makes every woman very happy, and I read once that chocolate actually makes certain like endors. Anyway, the hormone which makes you very happy, so it all makes sense. I'm going to melt these a little bit. You can put it in microwave or the way I'm going to do it, and then we're just going to put everything in a food processor and it will be ready. So super easy. This is a little tip: never put chocolate straight into the pan. Put a little bowl in a pan with hot water, and then this will melt easily without getting burnt. Okay, so now the chocolate is melted. Actually, these chocolate chips are optional. If you don't have them, you can also just make it with cacao powder, super easy. You would need a food processor. I have like a tiny one here. You can also use like a NutriBullet or a thing where you make like smoothies in. Then I have 3 ripe avocados, and I'm just going to add this in here. So the reason why it is important to have ripe avocados is because it gives a much like smoother texture into the mousse, and obviously that is much tastier. So we're going to add these. I always feel it's like kind of hard to find like perfect avocados, but they're like a couple of tricks. When you're in the store and you like squeeze them, they need to be a little bit soft. You need to be able to squeeze them, then you know they're like ripe. If they're really squeezable, they're not good. Also, there's always like this little dot on top. If you take that off and you see green, the avocado is not ripe yet. If you take that top off and it is brown, you know the avocado is ripe. So they're kind of like a couple of little tricks. And if the avocado is a tiny bit brown, so when you have hair, it's not a problem. You can still eat it. You don't even taste it. Also, the avocados contain so many like healthy fats, so besides eating like a yummy dessert, also got those omega-3s for the day. There we go. A little. So good. Then we're going to add 2 big tablespoons of shredded coconut. These are quite like fine. Add these in there because I love coconut. Then I have some raw cacao powder, and I'm going to put 3 big tablespoons in there. Really give this like a nice Actually, I'm gonna put 2 in there because I have the melted chocolate, the melted cacao nibs. I think if you don't use this, you can put 3 teaspoons in there. Oh, this smells so good. I remember as a kid when I was baking, I would always make some extra melted chocolate and just like eat it. By the way, if you don't have these are actually really helpful while cooking, because you can really like scrape everything out there. There we go. Then I'm going to add just a pinch of salt, very minimal. Then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of agave. You can also use honey or maple syrup for like a sweetener, depends if you're like vegan or not. This just gives the mousse like a tiny bit extra sweet flavor. And then I'm going to add some almond milk or plant-based milk. There we go. Also, if you want to make the recipes at home, then you can find the exact recipe and the proportions of all the ingredients in the description down below. So, and don't forget to tag me because I love to see these things. we have this delicious mousse, and then it's ready to be served. This is also great to prep if you're having like people over and you want to make this in advance. You can just put it in the fridge for like a real dessert. It's also really good as a snack, by the way. There we go. So then for topping, I'm going to add a little bit of shredded coconut. And I cut up some pieces of strawberry. And ta-da! The desserts are ready. Super cute, yummy, delicious chocolate mousse. So fun and very, very delicious. I'm gonna share with you guys my third and last recipe. Okay guys, the third recipe we're going to make is a banana strawberry ice cream. And honestly, this is so good and easy to make. I really love this in summer because obviously ice cream is very summery, but it's also like a really nice dessert, whatever, like after dinner or as a snack. So what I have here is 2 frozen bananas. I just cut this up last night. I just put them in the freezer, and then I have like 2 cups of fresh strawberries. Again, I have a food processor. For this recipe, I would recommend using a little food processor instead of like a smoothie machine or like a blender, just because you want to have like an ice cream texture, like kind of thick, and you don't want to have a smoothie texture because you need to add a lot of liquid to mix everything. So have a little food processor. I have a little bit of almond milk on the side because sometimes you need to add a little bit of liquid. So what I'm going to do is add these bananas in here. Honestly, this is so easy. And you just have natural sugar from the fruit, but nothing else. So I'm going to add this in here. Then I'm going to add a tiny splash of almond milk. And I might need a little more. Let's see if it works now. Obviously, you can do endless combinations of fruit. I would also recommend to do banana because that is like very sweet, but you can also make like blueberry. My favorite is actually is the strawberry one. So adding this. What you can do as well is, if you want to make it a little bit more beautiful, if you're like cooking for someone, is to put this in the container, put it in the freezer. And then when you want to take ice cream, you have these like special ice cream spoons. And then you will have like really nice like round balls of ice cream. I just like smash it into a bowl right now. Tastes the same, just looks a little different. And again, you can do all kinds of toppings. I'm going to add a couple of fresh strawberries on top. Coconut is really nice, shredded coconut, or you're adding like some nuts. Or homemade granola is actually really tasty as well. You can find that recipe in actually one of my first videos. That's kind of where like my whole cooking journey started. There we go. For now. So, and I'm adding some sliced fresh banana as well. So, and to finish it up, I'm going to put a little bit of fresh coconut on it. It is done. This contains 1 banana and like I think half a cup or 1 cup of fresh strawberries. It's absolutely delicious without any refined sugar, and you still have a feeling you're eating ice cream. So what do you want more? So guys, this was the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you are inspired to make healthy desserts. If you want to make this at home, you can find the ingredients in the description down below, so it's easy to make. And obviously, if you want to make it more sweet, you can add a little bit more honey or agave. It's totally up to you. Yeah, give this video a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the button here, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Also, if you make a recipe, please tag me in the pictures on Instagram if it's like a story or a post, because I would love to see it, and I always get very inspired when I see it. So, au revoir!